Hello everyone, so today we're going to be talking about the death penalty. Does someone really deserve to die? Yes, there are hate crimes out there. Yes, there are some people that should be punished for what they did. But does the government really need the death penalty? Or as we know it today as criminal punishment. So for the death penalty, it has been around for years to come and is still around actually because it's still a form of execution. With with that being said, the government still punishes some delinquents with the death penalty. Yes, the numbers have went down, but the numbers are still there as well. The death penalty should only be allowed if there is one hardcore evidence. Usually, the system misleads, or sometimes there's a miscommunication somewhere, and sometimes some people do get wrongfully accused, and sometimes they have to face the death penalty. So I believe that if you're going to face someone with the death penalty, at least have hardcore evidence proving that that specific person committed that crime. um, as we all know, there are different forms of execution, like the gas chamber or like fire squads or hanging, but capital punishment is the number one use of punishment for delinquents. Um, the death penalty also comes with a risk of an innocent person being executed, which is one of my main points because, as I stated before, I feel like before you execute someone, you should have hardcore evidence that they did so, and evidence to back up your hardcore evidence, just to make sure that you're not taking the life of an innocent person or someone who could have just done time in prison or something like that. Um, Having evidence and weighing out your options can save a lot of people's lives. Knowing for sure that a person is guilty based on evidence should be the only way to decide if a person should be punished to the death penalty. After gathering all the evidence about a case, we also have to keep in mind that the death penalty doesn't always provide a sense of peace to the family, the victim's family, and the other side of the family as well. Having a peace of mind is something that the family would never experience while going through this process. If the offender is proven guilty, then I completely understand. Researchers have found that most families have a higher level of mental, physical, and social abuse while being condemned in jail rather than the capital punishment. Capital punishment should be viewed as a detentive type of equality. However, it doesn't generally give the fulfillment of individuals' figure as it will whenever it is regulated. Last but not least, the cost of the death penalty is more than the cost of keeping someone put away in jail. The government can save money on leaving someone in jail versus sentencing them to the death penalty. At the point when you realize the expenses of keeping a detainee and everyone contrasted with keeping someone waiting for the capital punishment, citizens set aside cash away from the capital punishment. In conclusion, I don't agree with the death penalty because sometimes people are wrongfully accused of a crime because of the lack of evidence. Not knowing that the emotional and physical toll the death penalty causes is a huge situation. If people knew the statistics behind the cost of the death penalty, I'm pretty sure they would keep in mind and save their money towards something more productive. I was actually reading a book called Deterrence in the Death Penalty, and in this book, it pretty much explains all the possible ways you could go before the death penalty is sentenced on you. And I feel like we should keep those ways in mind before we just think to execute someone. Just think, if someone is proven guilty for killing someone, someone else has to kill that person. Yes, they're a part of the law enforcement, but that particular person may have guilt from having to execute that person as well. I also read a book on the reflections of capital populism. It pretty much talks about the same. We all know that capital punishment is one of the leading causes to execution for prisoners nowadays. So we also want to keep in mind that, yes, some people may deserve the death penalty, but a lot of people may be able to just do time in prison and do their sentence. So with that being said, the death penalty is a hardcore punishment, and I feel like we should keep in mind of other options before we just go straight to execution until proven guilty.